Okay, so excuse the sound of my bulldog breathing in the background. I'm just going to walk everyone through one more time what we're going to be grading everyone on tomorrow. So this is, for example, Ray's official competition scorecard for tomorrow. I just have Cassidy and Maleficent in here as an example. Everybody's going to have their own scorecard, and all of this will be published publicly after the competition is over, so you can see what you were graded on and everything like that. This is for phase 2, riding. We do have phase 1, groundwork, as well, and I'll go over that too. But phase 2, here is the progression. You're going to walk in, you're going to introduce yourself to the crowd, you're going to mount from the ground. We're looking for the horse to be still and for you not to employ flexion in mounting up. Some flair points would be that the horse auto parks, parking out, laying down, etc. These are just examples. It's not all inclusive, and this is subjective based on the judge. All right, so we also want to see that you stand still for 15 seconds while the rider is seated. An example of flair would be that you do not touch the reins at all. Your horse just stands still. We then want you to walk off. The horse responds quickly to you asking him to walk off. Examples of flair would be level or low headset or appropriate headset. There are some horses that have a much higher headset. I do not expect those horses to have their nose on the ground, but you can tell when a horse is relaxed based on how they carry themselves. So if you use a verbal cue and your horse responds to it, then that would be an example of flair as well. Stop and back up. We want to see that after you take a few strides. Okay, that's a good clarification. We need 5 steps forward. Stop and back up. The horse stops quickly, quietly, takes 5 full steps backwards. Examples of flair would be that you're using your seat or verbal cues and a good rolling transition. You're going to turn and approach point A at a walk. I'm looking for softness to pressure, suppleness, elasticity. You are in your less preferred head stall at this point, so I'm just looking to see that your horse at least knows what they're doing and responding to the pressure that you're applying on them. If you have not used a bit on your horse and you ride this portion bitted, it may be wiser to just skip using another head stall and put your horse bitless. You would take a sacrifice of 5 points on that portion of the riding test, but if your horse is quieter under saddle using the other headset, you may score better if you simply forego using a second head stall, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to turn and approach point A. All right, so you're walking from point A to point B. We're looking for suppleness, consistency, softness, fluidness of gait. Headset is appropriate, relaxed gait, loose rein. Trot from point B to point C. We're looking for a seamless transition, slinky, soft, and elastic. Again, seamless transition. We want to push ride on a loose rein. That's what we're looking for. Walk from point C to point D. So I essentially just want to see that your horse will walk, trot, and then come back down to a walk. That's what we're looking for. Is your horse both forward and will downward transition for you. So then we want to see a trot from point D to point A. You're doing your upward transitions towards your canter, okay? So then you're cantering at point A to point C, which is one section of the arena and the curve. At point C, we want to see your downward transition from a canter to a halt. So canter, we're giving you one section of the arena for each downward transition. So going to a trot from point C to point D, walk from point D to point A, dismount, and change bridles. So again, this is where if you do not have a second equipment change, if you do not have a second head stall to change into, if your horse is not going to ride in a second head stall, you would take a complete loss of 5 points here. But if your horse is not soft and consistent and quiet in these other points, you are going to lose in these other tasks. You're going to lose points because your horse would be completing at best. If they're gaping their mouth and their head is in your nose and everything like that, that's not superior completion. That horse is not going to look relaxed. That horse is not going to look like it knows that it's done this before, okay? So that's just something that you have to decide is it worth it, okay? So then I want to see you mount from a block. This is using a block or a fence. I don't care what you mount from, just a platform showing that your horse will come to you and let you mount from something standing up. Okay. Flare points would be that the horse auto parks, like parking out or laying down. The first obstacle is going to be a teeter-totter. We just want to see the horse walk onto and across the teeter-totter. There will be a 2-minute limit on this. So we're not looking for anything crazy. We just want to see that the horse will tackle a scary obstacle with willingness, softness, and a good effort. All right. Obstacle 2 is the water box. This is a super duper scary obstacle. And so I don't expect any horse to just tackle it. We really are grading your partnership in navigating the water box together. So that's what you're going to be graded on. And then the freestyle portion, everybody has got a 2-minute window to show us any skills that you feel were not demonstrated in the previous tasks.